Hello, world.
All right, we're live.
Welcome to the Sports Hangover. I'm Dawg. That's Mike, and we are more comfortable 2,000 miles apart. I'm feeling great.
Yeah, there was a lot of anxiety when you were like an hour and a half away from me. So I'm really glad you moved over to the East Coast just in time because California is getting shut down again. So you left at the great time.
Yeah, I was in California for a month. Never went out past 10 p.m., which is when your new curfew starts, and 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. wasn't going to be an issue. But I also don't want to be in a state where things are so bad that you have to have a curfew in effect. So I'm happy to get out.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, I literally, we were talking about it today. We're walking the dogs. What do? We just kind of walk around. We stay at home. We eat at home. There's no events anymore in life. It's just doing a podcast and then you go to bed, watch football.
Well, that's not true. I had a great weekend in San Diego. Cool. Went jet skiing in the marina, all around the town. It was great. And Mike, you were invited. You didn't come down to see me, and likewise, I didn't come up to see you. It's just a mutual. We're good. It's COVID. We're good.
Listen, mutual friend said he had a big day on Monday. Didn't want to take a
the
trip.
Dude builds runways. Before. How big can his day be?
Listen, I don't know. Yeah, actually, funny story. His whole office shut down today because of COVID. So.
Oh
yeah.
Probably not a funny story, but
no, not a funny story.
It's a story.
He just So there he is. So.
There you go. All right, I've got a lot to get to today. I have a big dick energy. Do you want to start somewhere? Do you want to start?
I mean, I wanted to talk about the Masters. I don't know if you want to talk about the Masters. Is that part of
leading with energy? Wow, ratings spike. It's not, but I just want to say it was great to watch the Masters, even though it wasn't a great tournament. Did you watch on Sunday?
I didn't watch on Sunday. I don't know what I was watching football, I guess, but told me a few guys. None of the guys won, so I lost money.
Well, Mike, what you should have done is watch the Masters before that late game window. Did you realize they stacked the late window, the 4:25 Eastern window, 1 o'clock Pacific, which they never do? And we actually had a bunch of good games, including a game we're going to talk about here, the Bills and Cardinals game. There's a bunch of good games in that late window, which never happens. And it makes me think, can we do that more often? Can we not go have a day on Sunday, come home at 4 o'clock and watch all the great games?
I mean, I loved it. I loved that there were all these good games in the afternoon because sometimes you almost push away the afternoon games oh, it's Washington, New York. I don't need to watch that game. I'll go do something else. But yeah, I liked it. It's obviously a COVID scheduling thing, I think.
It was for the Masters. So the Masters was on CBS and they couldn't have any early games. Romo didn't even do a game because Nance was on the Masters. So that's why we did it this way. The Masters wasn't great. Dustin Johnson got out to a big lead. There was no fans. Didn't have a lot of pressure on him like normal. The wind didn't swirl like we expected. The greens were a little too soft, Mike. They got a little too much rain in this fall time of year. And it turns out it was easy to make birdies. He was 20 under. He won by 5.
Question. I think the tune in, the viewership of the Masters was pretty low this year, right? Not a lot of people watching it, obviously on a football Sunday.
A football Saturday too. Don't forget the weekend. Saturday, there's big games going on. Normally it's in April with no competition. Big difference. And don't read into the ratings thing.
Okay. I read into the ratings.
Don't read into it. The best part though is the next major to happen will also be the Masters, and it's in April. So that's very exciting.
Oh, so okay, cool. So, I mean, was it weird that he won it? He was so emotional. I saw that part of it. Does it still count? You played in November. I almost feel like it's a whole different match playing in November. Because
that's hilarious, Mike. Ask the Lightning. Does it count?
No, I understand. But the golf wasn't in COVID. I feel like the seasons change a lot of what's going on because it's all about the course, right? When you're playing in a bubble.
It does, but he still beat everyone he had to beat. All the guys were there. Tiger was there, and he beat him. So I think it's fine. It just wasn't as exciting as normal. We did get some great Paulina Gretzky looks in the pantsuit. She was rocking the blazer, the Adidas blazer. It was.
I love that people were coming after Colin Cowherd for saying congratulations to Dustin Johnson for winning and everything else. It was kind of funny. Everybody's coming after him. Did you see that?
No. Why were they coming after Cowherd?
Because it was a screenshot of Dustin Johnson grabbing Paulina from behind.
I did see that. Yeah. He grabbed her on the 18th green. I don't know if that's the place to grab. It's a very appropriate place,
He won it, so he can do whatever he wants.
All right, Mike. I don't want the ratings to tank. Let's get to big dick energy.
Big Dick Energy, winner of the week.
What do you got?
That's the voice of your fiance, Erin. Good to see her before the show.
A lot of people don't know because she tried to mask it with a deeper voice. Big Dick Energy.
No, she always talks like that, and we love her for it. Mike, big shout out to my Big Dick Energy of the week. This is big. It's Bill O'Brien, our guy. He has done something that no one else has done, Mike. He's rebuilt. Mike, he rebuilt 2 franchises in 1 year for the first time ever. The Arizona Cardinals, with the help of DeAndre Hopkins and that Hail Mary I just referenced, they're rebuilt. They're reborn. They're playing tonight on Thursday night. They're reborn. But don't stop there. He also acquired the Miami Dolphins left tackle for all these draft picks, if you remember that. And what the Dolphins did with all the draft picks that they got was built an offensive line. Do you know what that offensive line has done the last 3 weeks? Kept Tua throwing passes, not on his back, and they're 3-0 with Tua. Bill O'Brien has rebuilt the Cardinals and the Dolphins from the grave, and I'm just giving him big props, big award season.
We always knew he was a great GM, right? Just dealing and wheeling. I love that Tua is doing great. He's on my fantasy team. Winning games. Now talk for like rookie MVP because he's winning these games.
Well, it's tough because Herbert's playing well, but he's not winning. He also has a terrible haircut now. Maybe we'll get to that.
Yeah,
that's like our loser of the week. Like, and he had the strength and conditioning coach do it. Like, bro, me and Mike can speak about this. When your hair is starting to fade, you just would do anything for the long locks.
Anything. Just keep them as long as you can. If you are 21 listening to this podcast,
that's the best advice.
Keep your hair. Jeremy, literally 4 years ago, full, thick head of hair. And there's photos. I have photos pop up on my TV all the time of me and you, Jeremy. Full head of hair. Not anymore, though. It's the new looking you.
They never tell you that when you're in your 20s. They never tell you to keep it.
No, they don't. It's just like you take it for advantage. And now just keep it, guys. Okay. Justin Herbert looks like a 10-year-old playing football.
But you're right. Two is in the mix. It's just very competitive. It's just very competitive with Burrow and Herbert. But more importantly, the Cardinals are so exciting. I texted you right away. Of course, I gave credit to my boy Kyler because I've been his biggest fan, and he did escape the pocket. He threw it next to the sideline, so he ran 20 yards away from defenders. DeAndre went up and high pointed it. How good are the Cardinals? How fun is that team?
They're so good that I actually bet on them tonight, which is part of my my bet this week. But hopefully, I mean, you're probably listening to this
against Seattle, right?
For some reason, I just feel like they're on an upward trend, and Seattle's kind of on a downward trend right now. And Kyler's doing great; everything's kind of clicking. Week to week, though, it's kind of up and down. Like sometimes you use Hopkins, sometimes they don't, sometimes they run, sometimes it's a Kyler show. Kyler, I think, has like the most running touchdowns combined with like Russell Wilson and Lamar in the last one season than the last 2 seasons of like Lamar and Russell or something like that. Some random stat I saw the other day.
He's a really good runner. My brother made a good point. He's a great runner and he's a good thrower, and that's true. Like his running is better than throwing, and I think with a lot of the other guys, their passing is pretty great. And I wouldn't say remember that Monday night game against Dallas? He had like 9 completions. He had so many incompletions and overthrows. Like his accuracy has to dial in, but he's young. Like when we were young on the show, when it was our second year, we made a few mistakes. We haven't made a mistake.
Maybe. Well, he's also short too. So I think being short kind of hurts you.
We have a short friend. We do
have a short. He doesn't listen to this podcast. But
it hurts him. It just does.
It does. Yeah. It's just on the inside a little bit. Can we talk about I talk about old people? Can we talk about Mike Tyson real quick? I had no idea he was fighting. I thought this was all fake, and I saw an article the other day. He's like legitimately fighting at the Staples Center November 28th. Did you know this?
Can there be fans there? I don't think Gavin Newsom allows fans.
Nothing will be happening.
So it's only on TV? What is it?
He's coming back out of retirement to fight. I have no idea why. I don't know if it's like a money grab, but he's in shape. He's ready to go. He looks so good. He's so in shape right now. For like, I think he's like 50 something. He looks so good. He's going out and fighting again. I don't know how he's doing it.
Well, I think he does a lot of yoga and stretching. He chills out with his birds. He's a big bird guy, so he's got like thousands of pigeons. I don't know if you've seen that feature. I think it was on Real Sports on HBO. Big bird guy. He talks to the birds. He's changed his life. Why is he fighting? Does he need money? I hope he doesn't get hit in the head. It shouldn't be a fight where he gets hit in the head.
He's definitely going to get hit in the head. And then this kind of leads me into, I wanted to talk about streaming because a lot of stuff's changing with streaming. Everybody's going online. Obviously, no like live events, stuff like that. But ESPN just cut, I don't know how many people, laid off 300 people. I know you listen to Dan Lebitard, fired one of their like producers just blindly on the show. And I think it's kind of weird, the transition of what's happening from cable to streaming and all the sports, because we think of sports as like the go-to. It's like the live event. You can advertise on there. But everybody's now like, okay, well, if you're on cable, we can't actually afford cable, so we're going to move it to streaming. And I think they moved Dan Lebitard to ESPN Plus exclusively, like the video version of it. So I don't really know like what's going on. Like I don't know, in the last like 3 years, I haven't watched really much ESPN. Like I don't tune in for ESPN. Do you watch any?
I watch a lot less studio shows for sure. I'll still watch a live game. Tonight's Thursday night football.
Yeah.
It's on Fox, but I'll watch a good Monday night game. In general, I'm not watching the same shows I watched like in college.
No, but you're gonna tune in to like watch the sports, but you're not gonna tune in to watch the people anymore because now everything's on demand. Like we're on demand.
And I love studio
for years. 10 years, Jeremy.
VOD, Mike, is where it's at, and we've been on demand for 10 years. You're right, because on TV you're on a schedule, and I know a football game starts at 8, and you know that, but you don't think the Levitate show starts at 1, so I have to be home at 1. Like no one, unless you're a huge fan, thinks like that. And then if it's not on demand and you get home at 1:30, you miss the first 30 minutes, and it shouldn't be like that. So we should not program anything to be on people's schedule. Everything should be on demand, including games. If you get home an hour later, that's another story. I'm gonna remind me to get to something on games. I have a thought there. First on ESPN.
Yeah.
The Levitate thing was crazy because he didn't know that one of his producers was being fired. His staff is like 5 people, super small. They make a ton of money for them. I'm surprised Levitate continues to sign contracts with them. And this is all me speculating. I don't know the truth in any of this. I'm surprised he does because you would think he could go out and do the Dan Patrick model or the Howard Stern model and do his own thing. And he's got such a loyal fan base that he just makes more money than he would for ESPN. And now they're behind a paywall, which is also pissing off his fan base. Like you said, all their radio shows used to be on ESPN News. Now they're on ESPN Plus.
But you still get the podcast. The podcast is still there. That's what I kind of listen to. Sometimes I tuned in for the show because, it airs different times over here. But I think it's weird because if ESPN's making that much money, they're not really losing money. I feel like ESPN itself, it's ABC. And the big boy is losing money because of Disney and all that stuff. So it's like a trickle down effect.
Well, ESPN is losing money because cable networks are all losing money right now because there's so many less subscribers. So the cord cutters are going up, subscribers are going down, and they're not making the same amount of money that they used to make, where maybe the cable company would give them $8 for you having all the ESPN channels. Now with ESPN Plus, it's $4.99, and there might be half the people converting. So the math doesn't add up there for them.
And I think a lot of it too is like, the kids that grew up, 10 years younger than us, 15, whatever it is, they're watching like all these snippets on like Instagram highlights, like House of Highlights or Snapchat. They're watching highlights of games and not a lot of commentary. I think they're going to personalities or their favorite athletes or whatever it is. And it's almost like fragmenting now to a lot of different smaller aspects of it instead of ESPN's the big player. It's like, now Dan Levitate is a brand and he could easily go to another place and it becomes a fragmented segment where it's like, yeah, Dan Levitare's there. And even like the Herd, like Colin Cowherd, like started his own like, podcast network of other stuff. And I think that's what it's all becoming because it's easier now for everybody to spin it up. I mean, we've been doing this literally like next week on the 23rd, Jeremy, is the day I bought the Sports Hangover domain. We've been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah. Big anniversary.
Big anniversary. But it's like something to that where, the big players finally caught up and they realized like, oh, I can make my own podcast network for absolutely nothing and get them in. So I'm curious to see what happens with all these, on-air talent, I guess.
In the old days, when we were kids in the 90s, there was ESPN and NBC and ABC, and that was what was available to you. The internet was just beginning. It was hardly available. So you had to be on ESPN if you were a sports talk show host to get that distribution, to get in front of 90 or 100 million homes. Yeah. Now, anything. All you need is a URL. All you need is a viral TikTok video or a tweet, and you're there, and it's changing the whole game. And I don't think it's hurting the Levitards because you can still make money doing that. I think it's hurting the big companies like Disney, but Disney's doing fine. Their stock is at like a really high. It's up at 140, Mike. It was down at 100 during the pandemic. That's with their theme parks in California still closed. Disney will be just fine. All they care about is their stock price more than employees. So I'm speculating. I don't know for sure. Sure. On the same, you mentioned something about highlights that I wanted to get to. And a lot of executives say this new thing is coming. And I believe, I don't know the name of it, but it's already being worked on right now, or maybe like next year it's being distributed, where you will be able to buy a subscription per sport, I think, to only watch the last few minutes of a game. So in like an NBA subscription, like NBA Fast Pass, you'll be able to pay $5 a month and you can watch the last 5 minutes of every NBA game anytime you want. And you might get a push alert if it's a close game and you're sitting at home watching The Bachelor with your girl, and then all of a sudden you jump on
or by
the
yourself.
NBA game.
No
By yourself. And then you jump on the NBA game on your phone as short friend as you're watching The Bachelor. So it's just an example of same thing for the NFL, baseball. Like that's crunch time. That's the 5 minutes that you have when you don't have 3 hours to watch.
But Jeremy, do you like? I don't see you on a Sunday afternoon sitting down like, oh damn, I got to pop in these highlights and watch it, because I think you're gonna watch the game. Like I don't like watching the highlights unless I literally miss the whole day. I'm like, oh, kind of what happened. And I know NFL has fast rewind. I know hockey has like the quick rewind where you can watch a whole game in like 5 minutes. Even YouTube TV right now, when you tune into something, they say, do you want to watch the highlights or catch up live? Which is really a nice feature. Have you ever done that when you're watching a game and you tune in like 20 minutes late?
Never.
Tune in late tonight to Thursday night football.
Yeah, I will. It's about to start.
Yeah, so tune in late. We're recording right at the time it's kicking off. Tune in late and you'll see that'll ask you, hey, do you want to check out the highlights before you go live? And it's kind of cool, but I don't think it's
Mike, we watch a lot of NFL, so maybe don't think of it in the NFL terms. NBA, we both have problems watching the whole game. Even watching the whole fourth quarter, that can last 45 minutes. It's too much. Would you watch the last 5 minutes of Steph Curry versus LeBron in a tie game? I think you might.
I would, but I don't know if I still get the same effect of the game. Like I'd almost rather tune in for the last 5 minutes, and even if those 5 minutes take 30 minutes, I feel like I was there live, because there's something with sports where I don't want to watch an hour of recorded football. I'd rather just catch up live and see where we're at.
But Mike, this is live for the end of the game. This is a push alert to have you come join us for the last few minutes of the game live.
Well, I think they do that now, right? Like on my Apple TV, I say close game, like Heat and Hornets, like tune in right now.
Maybe they do, but that's because you get it. This is a subscription service, and I don't know the name, that you'll be able to buy per sport. So maybe it's NHL, maybe it's baseball. For me, I always get to watch in the 8th inning or later for $5 a month. So that's just the trend and where it's going. You're not going to watch the whole game. You're only going to watch the last few minutes. That's for younger viewers who are on the go, watching all these things on all their devices. And we all get these push alerts. I mean, the notifications are not going away. These are just going to keep dinging for the rest of your life.
That's so annoying. Did you wanted me to bring up something about a game? Was that what you wanted me to bring up about the game?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that again.
Do you want to do J-Dog or you want to do BS or Believe?
Let's do some BS or Believe.
Bullshit or believe time. Bullshit or believe time. Bullshit or believe.
Mike, you're scaring people. Your sound bites right now are on time, and it's freaking people out.
Yeah, well, I have a lot of time. I queue up. I made sure I looked at 2 downs just in case I had hit one of them.
That's big.
I'm ready. Do you have a bullshit or do you want me to go?
I'll answer your questions.
Okay. Bullshit or believe. The NBA is 2-player focused and letting them do whatever they want. And obviously this is a shot at James Harden because he demands to be traded from the team. Bullshit or believe. Is the NBA 2-player focused and not being a team sport at this point? Because
it's so interesting. It's like the NBA, the players run the league, and you want to say bullshit. I want James Harden on Brooklyn. I want to see Harden and Durant, but then you wonder, what are the long-term ramifications of letting the inmates run the asylum per se?
Ooh, whoa, look
at that. And that's a dangerous road to go down.
It is.
Because it seems great right now, and it seems entertaining, and it seems like we have these super teams. And so I'm hesitant to say, I don't know how you phrase it again. I'm hesitant to say it's a problem, but I think it probably is. But in the short term, I love it because I want James Harden to make Brooklyn relevant, because without him, they're not.
Well, they have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving.
The East is like hardly relevant though, right?
Well, I think if he went there, obviously it's even bigger. It's like now this becomes the New York team, right? Like you make the Knicks irrelevant for the next 10 years because of who is on the Brooklyn Nets. And then all of a sudden everybody's like a Brooklyn fan.
No, it's for them. It's amazing, right?
Sure.
Like, the idea of being in that market and always trying to compete and like bring people out to Brooklyn when COVID is not going on, or get you to buy a Brooklyn Nets hat in New York City. Like no one does that. It's Knicks all the way. And the Knicks are a shitty franchise. They're terrible, but it's still the Knicks dominated.
This kind of goes back to the point of like, everybody's watching highlights. Everybody's doing this. So it's almost like if you like the player, you don't care where they play at this point, right? Like, I don't really care where LeBron was playing. We were always like, you could always be a fan of what LeBron was doing. Now he's in LA. Obviously, they won this year. So it's like, I'm a fan, But if he moved somewhere else, would I not be a fan? Like, it would still be like this thing where you follow him along, because I think a lot of people in Houston are still going to follow James Harden. But I think for the players right now, if they keep doing this, eventually it's like, well, then there's no, what is it called, where it's like balanced out in the league. I can't think of the word.
Parody?
But yeah, there's no parity in the league.
Well, there hasn't been parity in the NBA for a long time. LeBron started this, and people say, no, he didn't. Yes, he did. He went to the Heat, and he started the dream team thing, and now that's all the league is. And you either are or you aren't one, but that's what the NBA is.
But doesn't that, like, that's why it's almost like I love football, the NFL or the NHL, because anybody can beat anybody. Like, literally, like, the Washington football team can come in and beat the Saints next week, and you'd be like, oh, okay, like, hey, maybe an off week.
Yeah.
But I think with the NBA, I think it's getting to a point now where it can't be 2-player focused. Like, cut the salary cap, do something to slow it down. So I'm going to say believe.
You could be right. You're looking at the long term. I'm looking at the short term, and I'm like, bring it on, because that's exciting. We need to watch. No one watches the East. This would make you watch the East.
You might be in New York at some point, so you could be a Brooklyn fan.
Like, I was just thinking that myself. Brooklyn is a great stadium. We did a J-Dog Takes On, or maybe it was like a travel hack or something, where I told people how you can buy a cheap ticket in the upper deck to a Brooklyn Nets game and end up in the lower bowl by halftime for free.
Find that on YouTube.
Yeah, go purse through every show looking for that one.
What else?
Was that your only bullshit or believe?
Oh, I have one more. I will bullshit or believe is after not last week, after the week before, like 2 weeks ago, Russell Wilson losing a lot of games lately. Is he still MVP? Is he still in MVP running? Because I feel like Kyler or somebody else might have taken their spot. Bullshit or believe, Russell is no longer in the top tier of MVP candidates.
Man, who made you say that question? Because that's painful for you to ask.
I got a gun behind me.
Yeah.
Somebody's holding a gun up to my head.
Your fiance.
Yeah.
She's the only one out of the house. It must be her.
Yeah.
Listen, it's only week 10, Mike. We have a long way to go. We have the fantasy playoffs to go. We have the real hunt for the playoffs to go. There's 7 playoff teams in each division or each conference. And we need to start talking about that, because it's opening up a lot more playoff opportunities in the AFC and the NFC. The Dolphins are looking good. The Browns are looking good. These are things you would never say if there's less than 7 playoff teams. So there's more guys in the hunt. Tua's in the hunt for MVPs, for example. So there's more guys in the hunt. Russell's still in it, but he's got to win some games here. He's got to beat Kyler Murray tonight. Did he beat him? I think he didn't, but I think it already happened. So I don't
Game's starting soon. So what do you say? So bullshit or believe on him? Like, is he still...
I think bullshit. He's still in the hunt. You took him out of the hunt too early. He's cooking.
Okay. You want to do some best bets? I got some bets. Talk about games.
I do want to get to it. Yes.
All right.
If money talks, then I got a lot to say. I'm on the grind trying to make $100,000.
That's what Dope Dog's saying this week. Money talks.
That's right. Money talks. I'll talk about it at the end of the show. I'll pump up. Hopefully people are still listening.
I hope they're still listening.
I'm taking Cardinals tonight against Seahawks. I just think they're better right now than Seattle. Seattle, I know, was on a bye last week. I think it's a big game for the Cardinals. They play them well. Seattle's never been the same at home for the last 2 years. I'm taking Cardinals. I could be wrong. You might be listening to this on Friday and be like, you were dumb, Mike. So,
well, that's what I was going to say. Mike, props to you for putting yourself on the line and taking a Thursday night game as you record the show on Thursday night. And the game literally kicks off in 4 minutes. So props to you on that. I don't know what this hate. It's like you're putting an anti-curse on Russell Wilson, kind of talking some shit about him on today's show. Russell's going to be fine. The Seahawks will be fine. That's your team.
Well, I know, but I'm taking Cardinals at plus 3.5 here. So, listen, Seahawks could still win.
3.5. 3 is always the number for Seattle.
It always is. Always close games here. So we'll see what happens. Steelers at Jags. I'm taking the Jags plus 10. Listen, last week, whoever that boy was, I remember his name from last week. I forgot his name. Luton. I'm taking that boy again this week.
You loved him last week. Did they win? What happened?
They didn't win, but they played so hard against Green Bay. I was so excited. I was like, damn, he's doing so good. So I'm taking him this week against the Steelers. Listen, the Steelers have to have a down week. This has got to be a team they're looking down on. They don't understand what Luton's capable of. They're about to be surprised because I'm taking the 10 points here. Too easy. I'm taking
Mike, we had some downloads in Pittsburgh last weekend, and I think Big Ben listened to the show because we put them on blast. We put them on a soft 8-0. We had the headline of the show. Are the Steelers a soft 8-0? It was a resounding yes from our listeners, but in Pittsburgh, they were talking about it. Drive time in Pittsburgh, you know, the coal workers were doing a little work, driving home, listening to the pod, getting all pissed off. And you know what? Ben heard about it because he had a big game against the Bengals. They blew him out. I know the Bengals aren't that special, but Burrow's been playing well, and he embarrassed them.
He did.
Now, is that going to happen again? Probably not. I love the pick. I agree with you. 2-0 so far.
I love it. Atlanta at the Saints. I'm taking Atlanta at +4.5. Breeze is out. Played the game with like broken ribs and a collapsed lung. So props to him. The line did not move at all for Jameis taking his place.
Really?
So I don't know if gamblers are not paying attention to the news, but if you watched Jameis last year, he's not a good quarterback.
So Jameis is a 4.5-point favorite against Matt Ryan.
Correct. And the line didn't even move enough. It moved like 1 point.
But
so I think Drew Brees is worth more than 1 point.
Maybe it was assumed that Brees would be out based on like how ugly his injury was in that game on Sunday. Is that possible?
It was. You can look at the look ahead line, and I think it was at 5.5, and it just went down to 4.5.
Oh, the look ahead. So only move 1. Jameis isn't good. We know that. I can't take the Falcons. I know they've been playing competitive games since they fired their head coach, like the Texans did. I can't get behind it. And I want to give you a hack while we're on this game.
Give it to me.
I picked up a guy named Tristan Hill. Was that his name?
Tyson Hill?
Tyson Hill. Tyson Hill. Sorry.
The other quarterback.
Tristan Hill, just for the record, is a UCF defensive tackle, so I didn't confuse that too bad. Tyson Hill is the third-string quarterback. Maybe he's a backup this week. We know Jameis is starting.
Also a wide receiver, running back.
Well, that's what I'm getting to, Mike. He has tight end eligibility in fantasy football. I have a tight end hole. I have Jared Cook, who had no catches last week, who's also on the Saints. So I did a waiver claim. I got my boy Hill. With the expectation that he will accumulate stats as a running back, as a quarterback. What if he throws a touchdown pass? What if he runs the ball a few times? What if Jameis gets hurt and he becomes the quarterback in the second half? I get him in the tight end spot. It's a hack for you people. He's probably available in your league. Do it.
So I'm guessing not in Hollywood?
It was in Hollywood, and I got him.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Miami in Washington. The Washington football team. I'm taking Miami here at -3.5. I think 2 is the real deal. I think this is for real, and I'm riding the train right now. I think they're going to win this game. This is like almost like a proving ground at this point, right? They gotta win some more games, get this under their belt, and they could go into the playoffs and make some noise. I'm loving Miami. You must be so excited. He's like,
yeah, it's Mike. It's a great pick. Listen, it's a great pick. They're playing Denver, right? That's what you said.
Oh, wait. Are they playing Denver? I thought they were playing Washington.
I thought they were playing Denver.
Did I get that all mixed up? I swear it was Washington.
Now, was this one of those rescheduled games? I swear Jerry Jeudy and the Broncos are playing the Dolphins. I kind of swear. Yeah, the Broncos are playing the Dolphins. This whole... Wait, are all your bets like out? Are all these games even accurate?
Are you sure? Hold on. Just, Miami, where is this? I mean, I might have the wrong schedule. Oh, you're right. Oh my God.
You're looking at an early version of the schedule before COVID took over, and they had to move some games around. Now I can confirm the Saints Falcons are a real game. Just take the Dolphins against the Broncos.
I'll take them anyways. I'm just going to change it. Yeah, Broncos.
What I was going to say is Drew Lock is, I believe, out for the Broncos. They got blown out last week by the Raiders, who aren't even that good. Jerry Jeudy's questionable. They have no offensive weapons other than him. Take the Dolphins anyway.
Done. Hopefully all these games are right. Hopefully
you don't have to take. You don't like it. Doesn't affect you. You don't have to name the loser in your bets. You just name the winner.
No, just name the winner. Okay. Well, the winner in this next game is going to be the Ravens -6. I have no clue if Tennessee, the team they're playing, I think this week, is any good or if they're bad. I don't know if Ryan Tannehill is good, but I'm going to take the Ravens. I think this is a bounce back game from Lamar. Had a few rough weeks, not really getting it, losing some games. I think it's a bounce back for him. He's got to come back.
Super surprising that Lamar lost. The Ravens lost to Cam Newton. Like the Patriots were done. They nearly lost to the Jets the week before. You can't bet on this league yet. Here we are doing best bets every week. I like it. I like Lamar. I like the Ravens. Tannehill's a fraud. Titans are a fraud. We've known it forever. And we knew it last Thursday when they lost to the Colts on Thursday Night Football.
I don't know what's going on with the Colts either, so I'm going to stay away from all that. Minnesota -7, playing the Cowboys. I think from whatever I saw on my schedule, I'm not betting with Dallas at all the rest of the season. They are terrible. I don't know if Andy Dalton's back. I could care less. I'm taking Minnesota here. Cowboys are too bad. They're so bad that I can't not bet against them. Like, this is a game you have to bet because I know what they did against Pittsburgh. I know the Cowboys like, oh my God, like scary. Listen, there can be flukes. Sometimes you can play down the opponents, and I know Pittsburgh does. So they always do that. Doesn't Pittsburgh always play down to who they play sometimes? It's like,
it's called
weird.
bad coaching.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Can't get fired up for it. I love the pick. I think the Dolphins without the Cowboys, without Dak Prescott been struggling. Andy Dalton's the guy. He's back. The Vikings will be fine. They'll win that game.
That's all I got. You want to do J-Dog?
Let's do it.
J-Dog takes on.
Mike, J-Dog takes on this week the basic human. I want to share a story from the park rangers, and it will all make sense in the end. So the park rangers are in Yellowstone National Park, Mike, and, camping outdoors is a very safe place. So camping is up. And they're trying to design some new ways to keep food away from bears, these new canisters in the campsites, because all the time the bears come in the campsite when you're sleeping. If you leave some food out, they eat it. Then they know it's there. They come back. They attack you. They eat you. You're dead. Okay. So they're trying to figure out some new technology to keep the bears out. Mike, this is the quote from the Yellowstone Park Ranger on the issues they're running into as they try to develop the new technology. Quote, "There is considerable overlap between the intelligence of the smartest bears and the dumbest humans." And that is concerning on many levels. We see it time after time in things like the election and things like everyday life. And they can't figure out how to keep something where a human can figure it out, but a smart bear can't. And likewise, something a smart bear can't figure out, but a human can. So that's what we're taking on. All of us.
Do you notice how dumb people are sometimes? Just like you look at them, you're like, damn, you're really dumb. Like just things that people are doing. Sometimes you just see a random person in the grocery store doing something. It's like
all the time.
Really dumb. Yeah. That happens all the time. All the time.
Is it our country or our world? Not sure.
Honestly, I think it's just like this weird online world where like sometimes you just don't have to interact with people. And then when you go out in real life, it's not the same. It's like it's weird. I got some food news. This is good food news.
Here's what I found. Here's some news for food news.
Jeremy, next week, don't know if we're doing a show, but I feel like we're not doing anything else, so we might do a show. It's Thanksgiving week. I got the best Thanksgiving jungle juice recipe.
Jungle juice. Let's go.
Jungle juice. So this sounds great because it is 2 bottles of red wine, a lot of whiskey, and the main whiskey they want you to put in there is Fireball whiskey. And I'm going to put the full ingredients of this Thanksgiving jungle juice in our description so you can look at it.
So it's Fireball and red wine.
So I'll go over it. It's 2 bottles of red wine, ginger ale, cranberry juice, Fireball, whiskey, frozen cranberries, a little slice of orange, and some slices of apples. I will put this all in the description. Some jungle juice. We're making it for Thanksgiving. I don't think anybody's coming over here, but we're going to be lit.
For days.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing. It's like cinnamon and like the cherry from the red wine and then like ginger ale and like soda. That's great. That's right up my alley.
It's like nice and cold too, refreshing.
So it's in the description of the show. Like if they're listening to the show right now, wait till you pull over if you're driving. You might be heading home for the holidays and like screenshot our description.
Pick up some Fireball on your way home and you're good.
When you're scrolling through the description there, also hit subscribe for us. That'd be great.
Yeah. And also invest in Dope Dog. That would be good too. That would be good.
Congrats to Mike and for Dope Dog. It's taken off. If Dope Dog was a stock, go for it.
So recently Dope Dog just went up. We're doing a crowd investing. You can go onto a platform called Republic and invest into Dope Dog. We're raising money now. It's day 3. You can get in there and invest for as little as $150. And just go check it out. There's videos up there. We made a video. Did you watch the video, Jeremy?
I did. Mike, you were the star of it.
Wow. Well, I edited the video, so probably that's why.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah. So that's what we did. So go check
Mike
it out.
performing. It's great. Listen, it's a big deal for Dope Dog. Popline Media has been trying to get this for a long time. Dope Dog beat us, but it's neck and neck. It's a race, and we're gonna get there too. But Dope Dog itself, it's like one of those things where if you want it, like if you knew Mark Zuckerberg in college and he was like came over to your dorm and was like, hey, I'm trying to figure this out, like connect this tube to this tube so they talk to each other, like maybe it'll work. Like, will you invest $150? And people said no. And literally, there are real life people in this world who said no to that. And now they're working like their normal jobs without a retirement fund, and they could have had that. So just think of like this could be that. There is nothing else on the market. CBD dogs. Everyone loves dogs. Everyone loves CBD. Growing trend. This is the time to act. This is the time to get involved. You already listened to our show. You listen to Mike.
Here we are. Go invest. I'll put it in the show notes. You can click on it. It's just a Republic. You can go search Dope Dog. Super, super easy. It's like literally very easy to sign up and invest. So
I recommend Thanksgiving with the family, drink the jungle juice, get lit, and then go to the invest page and maybe invest a little more than you actually wanted to, because it's going to help you for the future.
I like that. Real quick, I have just like headlines that we didn't get to, which I thought were really funny.
We really didn't get to them today.
No, we didn't get to them, but real quick. Can you guess? There was a list of the worst passwords of 2020. Can you guess the worst passwords of 2020? Give me like one guess for one.
Password.
That was actually the 4th worst password of 2020.
It's a bad one. How about COVID?
Not even on the list.
Were these chosen before or after the pandemic?
I don't know. Just like 2020. I don't know where they found these. These must have been like stolen passwords at some point.
Yeah.
Number
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 was number 1. Number 2 was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Wow.
And then number 3 was picture 1. I don't understand what that. I've never decided to put in picture 1. And then
is that that's weird. Is that like a shortcut on a computer where that would like populate?
I have no idea.
I've never even heard of that.
I mean, I will tell you, my Wi-Fi password is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
And your address is.
Do not come here and steal my free Wi-Fi.
That's funny. For ease of use on the iPhone, I don't know if I should say this, but
sure.
I just put
11111.
It's all the same digits. What I'll say, just because like if you're gonna put your thumb on something, you might as well tap it 6 times instead of moving your thumb around.
Well, hey, you could update that phone and it could just be your Face ID and say your thumb.
I'm updating it right now because I don't want anyone to try. It's only like 10 combinations I just gave out. So.
And then number 10, Sienna. I don't even know what that is.
That's on the list.
Yeah, how does that go? That
Sienna?
doesn't even make any sense. All right, go to how about a new website? Go to sportshangover.com. We're over there. You can find all the stuff over there. Some shirts.
No password required.
No password required. Also, click the show notes. Go invest into Dope Dog. I'd appreciate it. And follow us on Instagram at popline.co. And we'll be back next week. See you.